friends, MD Vegan. It's my gentle juice fasting day again. It's once a week, more or less. Sometimes I have 4 days in between 2 fasting days. Sometimes I have 11 days between it. That's because of the moon. The moon has an influence of our water on the earth. The tide comes from the moon. The moon is far away from the earth, and then the water goes back. The moon comes closer to the earth, the water comes forth, the tide. And that also reflects, as yogis believe, on the water and its effect on the body. Water is cleansing. It's a very cleansing element. We have, between 60 and 70% of water in our bodies. The older we get, the less water we have, science says. But that water element cleanses our body. It's very important. Without water, we couldn't survive. And on fasting day, I cleanse the body, basically, the cleansing. And my digestion takes a break. That's part of the cleansing. And then the cleansing can kick in. Like at night, I go to bed, sleep, and the body cleanses. The brain brings out the toxins from the body that have been brought up during the day. That's a very natural process. It's a chemical process I don't have to explain now, but there's more science on that if you want to know. But that's what happens at night. And the fasting day is a longer night for the digestion. It's a very long night, you could say. No digestion. The body rests in that way. 70% of the immune system is in the intestines. The digestion rests. It's a big deal. And the whole metabolism, how I get energy from food, and so that changes, get upside down. On a fasting day, I produce energy in a different way. The body burns no longer sugar, the body burns ketones. Ketones are a different chemical substance. It's a very small molecule that is much more effective to be burned. And that also happens at night, I think. It happens always when the body has less energy than it needs. If you take less food than you need, less energy, the body begins to do that. It's a very effective way to burn energy. It's more effective than burning glucose, sugar. So the fasting day, this more effective way of getting energy for the body kicks in, and at the same time it cleanses the body. So that's very good. It's a little bit science background here, and why it's related to water, because the water helps, as the yogis believe, to cleanse the body. And when the moon has a certain point on its way around the earth, then the water elements, the yogi say, is balanced. And I looked it up. The moon is not on a circular, but on an elliptic way around the earth. So at a certain point of this ellipse, it's the 11th day after full moon, after new moon, this day has a certain balancing effect on the water element. And the yogis say that's the best day to cleanse. So that's today. No, today is new moon, and 11 days after the new moon, and the 11th day after the full moon, the maximum and the minimum. These balancing days are there. That's when I always fast. Full moon, new moon, and 11 days. So that's 4 times in a month. That's basically once a week, but not exactly, as I said, sometimes 11 days, sometimes 4 days between 2 fasting days. There's a certain rhythm, I go into in my fasting diary, so to say. And but basically that is just not so important. Most important is the regular fasting. When I do it in the moon fasting way, that's maybe a little bit more sophisticated, maybe a little bit more effective, if you can do that. But it's not important because the schedule, my daily, I do on a daily basis, my work, my social commitments, family, friends, and these kind of things, that is more important. I have social relationships, many relationships, and so when my fasting schedule should not interfere with that. I should plan my fasting in a way so that I cannot that don't disturb my regular social duties, so to say, commitments, so to say. That's why I would say more important that you do a regular fasting than, if you want to fast, than straight to a certain rule when it's best with the moon in. So that's not so important. That's only on top of everything else. I'm explaining you just because a little background. In my videos I always explain a little bit what I do, about the recipes, about why I do it, when I do it, and so on. And it's just the background information for people who are interested. Yeah, so just for you to know. If you're interested, you can ask me more about that, but not the main part of the video. Main part of this video is a new juice on a fasting day. I usually make a little delicious juice, and I want to have a delicious juice because I believe that if I enjoy myself, everything is more effective. Yeah, and a delicious juice is a great way to enjoy myself. Yeah, and also I like to experiment with these ingredients. Today I have a pineapple here. That is a small pineapple, not too big. Yeah, I peeled it, cut it into pieces, and I will juice it together with a beet, a red beet. Yeah? The beet juices are very interesting. They are the most interesting flavors, the beet flavors I always ran into, because I don't know why, but maybe they have a lot of sugar, and this sugar, you don't taste it immediately because it is a deep earth flavor. It grows under the earth, a beet, the root, of course, we know, but it at the same time has a lot of sugar. And this sugar is, I always say, it's hidden in the earth flavors. But when you put something sweet and sour to the beet, like an apple, an orange, or a pineapple, for example, all these flavors come out, these sugar flavors. And then the most amazing flavors evolve from the beet. I've never seen any other ingredient with such a great variety of new flavors you can create. So interesting. So today I tried with a pineapple. I have already made some pineapple beet recipes, but this is my first in that way. I will at the same time combine it with the basil. That's the second or the third main ingredient here. I have a half bunch of basil here. Basil is a very strong herb from the Mediterranean family of the mint. The mint family. Basil is one of the mint family. And there are many green herbs in the mint family from the Mediterranean, and they all have different effects. The basil wakes up the brain. Really, there's a substance in basil that makes you wake up. The brain is more active then. Yeah, they give children, they give a little basil stem to chew on at school when they are sleepy. And they immediately wake up because that is in basil. And it's very nice. It has a very strong flavor. Maybe you know basil. It's in many recipes, tomatoes, and so it's always in basil, oftentimes. Delicious and very strong. And I try to combine it with the beet and the pineapple. In addition to that, to boost all these flavors, I put some lemon and ginger to it. I often do that in many recipes. Just lemon and ginger is a classical combination to enhance other flavors. Not so much to give a new flavor, like the basil. The basil is introduced to give a new flavor to this combination of pineapple and beet. That's the base. And the basil gives the new flavor. And lemon and ginger enhances the other flavors. And a little bit the category I divide these plants, these foods in too. And maybe I will add some lemon peel. I save the lemon peel when I cut it off, and I don't know yet how much I can use. Sometimes it's too much. I will try taste it while juicing and tell you afterwards how much I need it. In a moment I'm back with the juice. My juice today, it's a half liter, not too much. Usually I make more, but this time I said, can we only use one pineapple and one beet. That's mainly the volume of the juice, because I didn't want any other ingredients. I don't want to use 2 pineapples or so, just 1 pineapple. And I could have added oranges and carrots to make it larger. But today I only wanted the pineapple and the beet to understand or to feel this flavor together with the basil. So it's the first recipe in this series with the basil, the pineapple and the beet. And next time I will make a juice like this, I will add maybe orange and apple, or carrot and orange. I don't know yet, we'll see. But for now, it's this one. Let's see, this is the basic one. To understand what these ingredients do to each other. When I add too many ingredients, that's confusing. For the clarity of an understanding, it's nice to begin with a small number of ingredients. So let's taste it. I didn't add all of the lemon peel because it could be very strong. So let's see. It is a strong juice. It's a very clear, crystal clear flavor, I would describe. It's, you know, when I just juice a pineapple just by itself, it is a creamy, thick juice. Delicious. Just pure pineapple juice, so delicious. When I juiced a beet, it's a juice I cannot really enjoy because there's a scratching in the throat. It's not sweet, it's very strong, but it scratches in the throat. So I need to add something to beet, but it's a very clear also flavor otherwise. And this clarity from the beet is in this pineapple juice also, pineapple beet juice. And that's very strange, but it's a very strong flavor. The pineapple has a strong character, very characteristic, and the beet too. And together, a new, very strong flavor comes out, and another very strong character is the basil. So, very interesting. It's a very strong flavor, very, pointed, sharp. Not sharp in the way of a ginger or a chili or pepper sharp. No, sharp in the way of precise. It's a very interesting, yeah. It's a good flavor, very strong flavor. I'll enjoy it. My full understanding only I have when I drank all the juice. When I really enjoyed it all. You see, it's runny. It's not thick, not creamy, yeah, but not watery. Beautiful color, like all the beet juices, yeah, usually. And the one thing with the beet is interesting because the beet has a very good property. It's a very good effect. If you have beets, you have better endurance when you work out, for example. A little later, you're eating beet, I read, 2 hours later, you have a better endurance. That's what beet does. There are many reasons why it does that. It's another question. But beet has this effect. So when I drink a beet juice on a fasting day, I know it's strengthening. It gives me more endurance. It makes me strong. And that is, on a fasting day especially, it is good because sometimes I don't eat enough. That's the fasting day. And then I get a little bit tired sometimes, sleepy. That happens on a fasting day. Sometimes. Usually I'm fired up on a fasting day. It's very, yeah, it's exciting to fast if you do it right. Not pushing, gentle, yeah, gentle. Yeah. But these juices really are, get energy. Yeah, that's my beet juice always. I have several juices on a fasting day. The beet juice is a classic for me. And then the green juice, of course. That's greens are our healthiest food, and they give oxygen to the body, from the chlorophyll. It gives also minerals, very strong. The magnesium comes from the greens, that relaxing the muscles and so. So very, very important, the greens. And then carrot juices, a little bit like the beet juice, but not so strong. There are many other juices I can make, but the colors are pretty characteristic for the juices. Then another thing I do on fasting days is plant milks. Now, maybe later in the day, I like to have a plant milk. That's something to relax a little bit from the fasting. Is also, it makes the body work more inside. Yeah, it pulls me inside, and that's also a little activity. Yeah. And The plant milks, they are a little bit more fat from the nuts and the seeds, and that makes the fasting slow down a little bit. So it's relaxing a little bit, it's calming down, it's in the evening or so. It's a good thing, like a dessert on a fasting day. I have that sometimes too. Other things I have fasting days, but it's enough now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you like my videos, subscribe and be vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. And if you want to know more about Tree Yoga Moon Fasting or Gentle Juice Fasting, there is a Facebook page called Tree Yoga Moon Fasting. Tree Yoga is the name of my yoga style. It's from Yogini Kaliji, so Kali Ray. She brought the flow into the yoga movement, into the yoga world. The flow was not there before. Tree Yoga brought the flow into the yoga movement, a yoga world. That's basically the idea of Tree Yoga, the flow. That is a non-violent way of moving, of thinking, of feeling, of doing yoga, of eating, of course. It's all part of Tree Yoga. And that is the Facebook page, Tree Yoga Moon Fasting, because of that reason. And Gentle Juice Fasting, the gentleness of the fasting, also comes from Tree Yoga. That's why I have that name for the Facebook page. You're very welcome. Yeah, check it out, and hope to see you soon.